Good morning,
Good afternoon,
good evening
wherever you are.
on our lovely planet. If you haven't been with us before, Ariel and I tend to finish each other's sentences from time to time in more convoluted ways than that, which is our intro.
That's me. I'm Ariel. The handsome man sitting next to me is Shia.
But this is a podcast, so they can't really see it.
Well, you never know. We may start releasing the videos on YouTube. We
That
have them all.
That would be a great idea.
It could be fun. Maybe it'll be a whole new project. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes, yes.
Today's theme is
Actually, I don't need any new projects.
I know, but somebody else.
I have enough new projects. In fact, every project I do is new. Yep, it really is. I mean, I've been tying fishing flies for probably 30 years now. And every time I start, it's new. It's like I haven't done it before. I have to rethink how to do it. Now, a lot of people hold on to things over time. I don't. So it's all new to me.
Well, you know what's fun? You refresh your curiosity regularly by watching YouTube videos about subjects you're interested in.
Yes.
So it occurs to me that if anybody in our community wants to get excited about the potential of
creating a new system of delivery.
I mean, we have all of these and they do go up to YouTube already, just in the audio format. So who knows, one way or another, we're out there.
One way or another, we're going to get you. We're going to get you. Okay, so refresh our curiosity. Yes.
You know how you do that? I know you're going to say, oh, through listening. That's true. However, what I was thinking about earlier, right before we started this episode, Shia got really excited about something he learned in a new way of tying a fishing fly. And he started to tell me about it, and his face was lit up. And I could have done a thing, but I stopped what I was doing. I turned in my chair and I fully engaged with his self-expression. And it was
a gift
for both of us. Really engaged.
You know, your life presents to you in each moment. It's constantly presenting possibilities and options and things to get excited about, to get involved with. And most of us, when Ariel read before something about teenage years, or
in case you haven't read the
intro,
what this podcast is about, I'll read it to you. This is what I read to Shia before we started. It's the description. When we were children, everything was interesting. In our teens, we knew everything, and many of us fine-tuned being bored. Do you ever fall into that jaded teenage persona? And then we said, tune into being here and refresh your curiosity and revitalize your life.
That's right. You revitalize your life when you get into the current moment of your life. You can either COVID killed me. I didn't die, but it gave me a cough that has not left after a year and a half.
Instead of long COVID, it's lung COVID.
Lung COVID.
Yeah.
In any event, your engagement in what you're doing in the current moment of your life revitalizes your life. You're thinking you already know everything. It's a soporific. It puts you to sleep.
Fun fact.
Yes.
That I haven't told you yet.
Oh, that's very good.
My day started off just fine.
Yes.
I had time with you. I had things to do. I had office work. And I was doing things. And then we recorded an episode of Being Here a couple hours ago.
Right.
In my engagement with my life, totally shifted.
Out of that conversation.
Yes. And my enthusiasm for life has been off the charts since then. I've been so excited. Everything I've touched, everything I've done, every email I've sent.
Well, as you say this, you're a woman 65 years of age. I'm a man 82 years of age. Most people our age or anywhere in between or 20 years earlier than you have already come to some kind of conclusion about, well, that's what my life was about. As though that pinnacle of an event years ago was as good as it's going to get, rather than each moment is an opportunity to have a magnificent life right here, right now, with what you have, not what you need or think you need to be more satisfied or happier or well in yourself. It's all here in this moment if you are. But if you're out of sync with your life, nothing can be satisfying. Anyway, we have guests.
Before we take our first one,
okay,
shout out to Christina and Cheryl, who we recorded with earlier today, even though your episode won't be released for a few weeks after this one airs. You, by being here and fully engaging with us, dramatically impacted the quality of my life, and I thank you.
So there.
All right. No pressure, Uli. Welcome to being here. They didn't do anything special. They were just themselves, like you.
Hi, honey.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to see you guys.
So nice to see you.
Are you in your professional sound booth?
Yes, I'm in our studio, and I'm in the booth, in the interpreting booth, which looks a little dark right now because it's dark outside and I don't have that much light in here, but that's where I am.
We can see you just perfectly.
And congratulations again on that incredible expansion you've had in your interpreting business, and that you guys have created your own sound booths.
You know, Ariel says this, and you have no idea how much I admire your mind.
How so?
Well, you can, in an instant, translate my words into German, and I believe Spanish as well. And I don't know what else.
I do speak French, but I don't use it for work.
Okay, well, there you have it. That you have an internal personal computer that is capable of in an instant translating from one language to another. I don't have that facility. It's not that I haven't at times wanted it. Like when I was in high school, I had to take a language. I think I had to take a language in college as well. And it was always a difficulty for me because my mind, I have dyslexia, and I can't remember how to spell a word from time to time.
In English,
In
much
English,
less in
right.
German.
Or Spanish or French. And so I admire the facility that you have, a facile mind that can do that is just a mystery to me, as is people who are able to play musical instruments, which I cannot. And it's not like I wouldn't want to, I just don't have an aptitude for it.
And so he can appreciate you greatly without feeling less.
And I don't diminish myself that I don't have those abilities, but I admire it in you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I hope it isn't too much of an acknowledgement, but I really admire. And you see, that's the thing. You take your ability to translate language, which is your profession, you take it for granted, as though anybody could do this. Don't you? Take a look.
I guess, yes.
Yes. So I know you know that you do it very well and that there are not very many people as proficient as you. You're very skilled at it. But somewhere back there, you're like, oh, it's normal. It's nothing. It's just, just me.
It just comes to me.
Well, it's more like that's all I can. That's all. That's the only thing I'm good at. That's more what goes through my mind.
Well, that's very interesting, you see. You diminish this incredible talent that you have in your thoughts about you.
Well, I have a couple of questions since that's all you can do, Uli.
Which we doubt.
So do you own your own company?
Yes.
Do you hire other or contractors or other translators to do events?
Yes.
You book events?
Yes.
Have you just rented a space in your neighborhood, giving it new life and created this whole new sound studio?
I did.
Uh-huh. Is it something you and your husband collaborated on?
Yes.
Oh my God, she's collaborating with her husband. Do you have children?
Yes, I have two.
Are you surviving the teenage years?
I am. They're doing great. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not all you do, my dear, or all you're good at.
Okay. Now I'm blushing.
That's okay. This isn't going to be. We're not going to do video here. This is audio, right?
For the moment.
For the moment, change.
We may go back.
And then people will see you blush. But I couldn't really tell. The lighting is a little bad.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Yeah.
I like that you said that though, Uli, when you said it's the only thing I do, because we all have these stories that become like blinders for our curiosity and possibilities. So we just had fun saying a few things that we know about you. I imagine that if we followed you around for a single day or maybe even an hour, we could have a whole list of other possibilities too. But when you have the story, oh, that's the only thing I do or the only thing I'm capable of, you miss seeing the wonder of how you interact with your life and what your life has to offer.
I was going to ask that oftentimes when things come my way, I could be curious about or interested in, I have a reaction like, ugh, like virtually roll my eyes. Who cares about that? And I have to somehow go over this.
Yes, of course you do. You see, you've been trained by the culture you grew up in to look down on certain things as though they're unimportant.
But I think that's, again, all teenage things.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
It's more homework, even if it's an invitation to take a walk in the park.
Yeah.
See, look, change is upsetting. So we have developed behavior patterns to avoid change. Do you want to go out? No. First thing that comes up is no. Then maybe you can get talked into it and maybe you'll have a good time, but your defense mechanism is to say no to anything that's requested of you. Have you ever noticed that? And when I'm talking to you, I don't mean the you, Uli you, I mean all of us you. Very rare is it that you see people who engage in their lives like it's their idea. They're kind of a victim of the circumstances, having to force themselves to do it rather than jump into your life like it's an exciting adventure. Yesterday, we had a light go out in our basement. It was a fluorescent light. So I went to Home Depot and I bought a couple of these 4 foot long by about a foot wide lamps.
So that's more than a meter.
Yeah.
By a third of a meter.
Yeah. And then they were these LED lights that didn't have bulbs. And I took down the old unit and I installed the new one, and I became an electrician and a carpenter and all the things that needed to be done to produce. And when Ariel came home, there was light there.
And I have to tell you, it was really cool because I walked in and he goes, look what I did. And it wasn't about look at the lights and how great they are. There is a little tool that you put one wire on a wire and then to see if there's current running.
You know, it has a little lamp, and you put these two wires into the socket, and you get, if there's juice in the socket, you'll get a light. You know, it's an indicator of current. Well, problem was when I took off that first light fixture, I didn't know, because it wasn't working, I couldn't go and throw circuit breakers to figure out how to turn it off so I could work with it.
Which one still had juice going to it. And he didn't want to work in it where he could potentially
get electrocuted.
So he played with this tool, this little plastic thing with wires sticking out that had a little light on it, that if the juice is going through, it lights up. And he put little alligator clips on the end so he could clip it to the wire and then flip circuit breakers until he found the correct one. And he was as excited by having created this really creative solution that allowed him to do a two-person job elegantly by himself. And I just...
Well, that wasn't the only thing, but when you say that I did a two-person job by myself, also to hold this fixture up, it's 4 feet long, so that's about a 1.25 meters long, roughly speaking, a little less. How do you hold it in place to screw it up to the rafters? So what I did was I took a ladder and taped a carton, a little box that came in the mail, on top of the ladder, so there was just enough room for one end of this thing to sit about 1 inch away from the ceiling. I put up one end, and then I moved and put up the other end. It was very cool. It was cool to discover how to do it. Look, I'm not a professional electrician. I'm not, I have the story that I'm not skilled with my hands.
Yes, kind of like you only do this small, narrow thing rather than recognizing all the ways you're accomplished. And I know people are listening to this, so you can't, unless we go back and re-release these as audio videos also. See, most people, you can only, but you can't see the animation in Shai's face, but you can probably hear it. The excitement of doing anything in your life or being in your life, not like it's a burden and not like, oh my God.
And not to get it over with, but to be there in the actions that you're taking. And this happens when I wash dishes. It's not, it's not the uniqueness of the
project or the task.
Right. It's the engagement in what you do provides satisfaction. Really. I mean, I'm blown away by what I produced by myself with very little time. It didn't take a lot of time. We went shopping the other day and we bought 2 of these containers of avocado oil that are in spray cans that you use to put on a pan before you fry things. And I dropped one of them. And the part that presses the spray broke off. And I don't know where it went. I couldn't find it. It was in the basement, and it may have fallen into a little drain that runs around our basement. But the old one was just about done. So this morning, when it was done, I took it down to my shop in my basement, shop, and I figured a way of prying that fixture off of that can. And it came off. And then I went and got the new can and I pried the broken stuff off and put the new one on. And now it's all taken care of, rather than complain to myself that I dropped something and it broke.
I see. And so this initial no we were speaking about, you just you hear it and you let it pass by and keep going?
Yes, it tells me I'm not capable, and I bypass it because it's part of an old story.
Well,
Mhm.
you could think of it like this, Billy. It's as if you are reading a book.
Mhm.
And every time you open the book, it goes to the same page. Once upon a time, no, I don't want to. And you could just skip, turn the page to the current page, which is whatever's in front of you, and engage.
That's right.
Okay. Mhm.
And when you engage in whatever's in front of you, it's exciting.
But here's the thing, when you said that to us, it was a little bit, the question is almost like a better Uli would hear that and then bypass it.
And never say no again. See,
But
that's an automatic.
it's for me, like earlier this morning, when I said this morning was just fine, I had a recognition that if I were a gas stove, a multi-burner stove, my burners were turned down low. So I could either be going, I'm in a no. I could just bypass it and turn up my fire. Talking to myself. And sometimes that automatic no that you're describing is informational, like, oh, I'm upset, or oh, this is a new project and I don't really know how to do it yet. So sometimes those automatic statements are things that happen as a symptom of something, as opposed to something we simply need to bypass. And, of course, just going about my day, things shifted, but
Got it.
it's not about driving yourself forward to, be a more productive member of society.
I got it.
Really, it's about having fun. But if you're listening to a voice that complains about what you're doing, like you should be doing something else that'll be better, well, then you never have satisfaction because there's always going to be something better in your mind. The mind functions with more, better, different, rather than being with the person you're talking to.
Hmm.
As that's enough.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Oh, baby, thank you.
Really, it's such a treat to
It's
be
such
with
a
you.
treat to be with you. Yes.
Same here.
It's time for our listener feedback spotlight.
Okay, so here we go.
We're going to hear from one of our listeners about how transformation has impacted her life or his life. Let's see.
Yeah. And if you'd like to learn more about what we're up to, come, you could register for any of our upcoming virtual courses.
Or sign up for our newsletter. Just visit
transformationmadeeasy.com.
It really is easy.
It is easy if you know the way.
Hi, this is Judy in Manhattan, and I love transformation. I take transformation with me on the subway. I take transformation with me on my morning walks. I take it at the airport. It's a great way for me to stay connected and stay centered.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel & Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We have a Living Made Easy seminar coming up this Saturday, and then one in the following Monday. Reclaiming your sense of wonder is happening in about 10 days. Hopefully it's happening now. But our weekend seminar of that title is happening in
Our
about 10
virtual
days.
seminar, which is being done bilingually in English and German for the people in Switzerland and Germany and other places that they speak German.
That way we take care of a wider swath of our community. You are invited. Have you been to one of our weekend seminars yet? Are you curious? You are really, really welcome. New Beginnings is the weekend virtual seminar, all in English, that one, at the beginning of the year, January 6th and 7th. It's a Saturday and Sunday also. And either one of these courses are the prerequisite for Costa Rica 2024, our 1 or 2 week course, depending on what you wish to partake in. That's happening, obviously, in Costa Rica.
Yes.
Our calendars have been getting out there to folks. People are also getting them as holiday gifts. I've taken all the pictures. It is really a lovely
All the pictures
piece.
except one.
Yes, I took a picture of me taking a picture.
And that picture is
It's
the
in
cover of the calendar.
He took a
Not
picture.
my picture, but that's what she was taking a picture of when I took a picture of her taking a picture of the calendar cover.
Which I actually think is really fascinating because I had no clue you were there. I was just so engaged with this exquisite bird. So it's fun for me to have to see.
And she gave me credit.
Yes.
You know, photo credit.
You deserve it. So you can find out about any of our courses. You can sign up for our newsletter and get blogs and videos and inspirational information throughout the month. All of that's available at
transformationmadeeasy.com.
Ooh, we got to see you for a moment there, Janet. So looking forward to having you on officially now as a guest. So tell people where you're zooming in from. You're going to have to unmute though.
Well, hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Janet, and I am zooming in from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Nice. Welcome to being here.
Thank you. Danke.
Bitte. Showing my minimal German skills. Yes. What can we do for you?
Well, I love today's topic, and I had prepared a question, but then listening to the first part of the podcast, I thought that another question and thought came to mind, which is really for me, how can I reclaim my sense of wonder around this job search and this period that I'm going through, this sabbatical where I've been out of work and looking to see what the next step is in my professional career? So that's what comes to mind.
Well, the first thing is to not pressure yourself to have a sense of wonder about it. And then
the other thing is this. You mentioned earlier to us that your husband was in your apartment and he was talking on the phone, and you didn't expect that, right?
Correct.
Okay. The day before you met your husband, did you have any idea you were going to meet the man for you in this lifetime?
No.
Absolutely. You didn't have a clue that he was going to just show up in your life. Well, it's the same thing with a job search.
I doubt the day before you had a sense of wonder about your dating life.
And I doubt the day before you even thought about him because he didn't exist yet. Well, it's the same thing with a job search. If you want to get hit by a bus, you can't sit in the woods. Okay? You get what I'm saying? Now, if you're putting your resume out, then your job may find you, you see, but it may not happen when you would dictate it. It may come from something you didn't expect. I mean, the day before I met my lovely wife, I knew she existed because I saw her around the community that of people that I worked with. But I never thought we'd be together for our lives. You know, it's been 40 years now.
But
And she was just this young chippy. Actually, it's more than 40 years.
I think it's interesting though, Janet, you're trying to reclaim your sense of wonder about a category in your life.
Which
Right.
you were bored with, which you complained to yourself that you had to go there. Before you quit your last job or your last job dissolved, you were not in love with it. You shook your head.
You got to speak,
gotta
out
speak
loud.
up.
Absolutely correct and spot on,
Right.
110%.
Yes. So here's the deal. You don't know where it's going to come from. But if you are actively engaged in your life in real time, opportunities will arise that you couldn't even imagine from the funk of our minds, where we are complaining that things aren't going the way we think they ought to. But if you're open to allowing life to show up, my dear, it will.
I see that if we go back to your question, it's similar to how most people think. We have the idea that we are having a challenge in one area of our life. So you're
Yes.
trying to figure out how to do your life differently, reclaim your sense of wonder around
As a
job
doing
search,
this.
as a do, rather than recognizing that you actually are innately a curious person. You have this sense of wonder, and from time to time, you don't experience it.
Especially when you're in the midst of a complaint that life isn't going the way you think it ought to.
I have noticed something about you on some of the Living Made Easies, Janet, and that is,
It's good, don't worry.
no, but maybe you are frustrated with yourself that you haven't found a job yet, that you're still searching. So recently, a number of people, like Leah mentioned that she's now in a job search, and people were saying, "Oh, what are you looking for?" And she started to articulate it, and somebody else did too. And you get quiet, like you don't celebrate that you're in the midst of this. You could be on people's radars. They may come across somebody.
Yes.
It was interesting. I saw this really cool YouTube video today. It randomly showed up on my phone. There was a man who discovered that he had cancer, and his wife has cancer, and she was in another part of this hospital, and he had just gotten the news, and he was sitting in the lobby processing it. And there was a dental not student, it was a physician who was training to be a dentist from Mexico, who was in this place. But when he moved here, he had to leave his piano behind. And so he had taken to practicing piano because there was a piano on display in the lobby that was open to people.
Mm.
And he was quite a pianist. And when he was done just playing this piece, the fellow who had cancer heard a guy behind him saying, "Wow, I really needed that today." And he turned and looked, and that gentleman was crying. And he realized he was crying. He got up to speak to the man who'd been playing the piano. And it turns out that the fellow who has cancer had a good friend who is looking for a place to give away the piano that she loved to someone who would cherish it. And they became friends, the piano playing, soon to be dentist, the fellow who had cancer, and this woman. And the piano player now has one at his home. He's teaching his kids. He's teaching and he's still playing in the lobby as a give back. What he did was expressed himself on the piano, not looking for something. And I have a feeling from time to time you get so focused on finding a job, you forget
to be you.
And all you have to offer, and how much people are delighted being around you. And we're like,
see, and that doesn't compute with the story that you tell yourself about who you are.
I mean, didn't you enjoy listening? And of course, because you're on Zoom also with the video portion right now, watching Uli?
Loved. I loved listening to her story and how she's been able to build up her business and extend capability. It was a great story.
Yes, but you see, even there, as you say it, it was about building her business, but it wasn't about building her business. It was about engaging in her life. See,
including collaborating with her husband.
That's right.
Oh.
And you know, I just have a feeling that you have this wide support structure of people who really genuinely care about you and love you. And even your listening is going through this agenda of I've got to get a job.
As if you don't have value without your job.
And we're not suggesting you shouldn't get a job, but we're saying that it's almost as if an upset has taken over and you've lost sight of
your enthusiasm for life. See, when you get enthusiastic, people are attracted. Have you noticed that? You're not attracted to people who are sitting in the corner eating worms.
Absolutely not.
No, you're attracted to those people that are alive and engaged. Well, when you're in your thought processes about how to get a job, you become less and less attractive to people who are looking for somebody to work with them.
That's a very good point.
I only make very good points.
I know. I agree.
I mean, you know, why make a point if it's not a good one? In effect, how you are affects your universe and how your universe shows up. In your mind, in your thought processes, you think you need a job to be okay, rather than you're okay, and any job that comes along that you want to engage in, you'll be great at. I know you've got certain specific ideas about the areas you want your job to be, but who knows what could show up if you relax and see what shows.
That's been really helpful, making me think about it from a whole new perspective.
I see the possibility, Janet, of you relaxing into having fun in all areas of your life. And I promise you, with everything I am and everything I own, including, well, I don't own him, but including.
She bought me, she owns me.
That if you have fun, you will not keep yourself from having a job. It's exactly the opposite. Because if I have two candidates of equal talent or similar talent, am I going to want to hire the one that appears to be having fun with her life and is fun to be with? Or am I going to want to be with the one,
the sad sack,
who's really hard on herself and is desperate for this job? You're nodding again.
Yes, it's if given the choice, yes, I would want the person that's having fun and enjoying.
Well, my dear, you just have been telling yourself a story for so long, you actually believe that you are the story.
You know,
I
I
do.
know we are recording this prior to Camp Tecumseh. I am so excited we get to see you
Yes,
this
this is going to be
weekend.
great.
We are doing the Freedom to Breathe and Art of Being a Healer, and holy guacamole, this is going to be awesome, and I predict a lot of fun.
I am really excited about the upcoming Camp Tecumseh, and I
Well-
think it's going to be really good for me.
Well, here, I think you should be excited about Janet.
Thank you.
She's a beauty.
Mhm,
Oh, thank you.
mhm. I concur.
Sending heart signals.
Hearts back. Hey, thanks for being with us today. You know, your conversation with us is such a gift because I know what it's like when, for anybody who gets tunnel vision about getting a job, getting a relationship, having a child, finding a new apartment, you know, figuring out how to handle parents as they're aging. There's so many things that we can get narrowed down on and we forget to live.
To live and to breathe and to have fun. So thank you for reminding me about that.
Mhm. And one last thing, if you're not having fun, don't be hard on yourself for not having fun. Because I'm having more fun now, if I were to quantify it, than I did this morning. I was more conversing with myself. Sometimes that happens. It doesn't make you a lesser Janet.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I enjoyed this podcast.
So did I.
Awesome. Did you enjoy this podcast, Janet?
Loved it. Thank you.
You know, if like the three of us, you enjoyed it, you can leave a review on your favorite podcast app if you would like. It helps people find being here. Another thing you can do is, you know, share a link to people. If you feel to do it, thanks in advance. And if not, don't feel a pressure.
Right.
Next week's episode
Is
just blink. We'll be back next week. So come on back.
And don't miss being here.
Mm.